Everyone knows about Donald Trump's delay with taxes for 2020, and recently his tax forms were revealed. And you're probably wondering what was happening in his taxes. So here today, we're gonna see his tax forms and go line by line to figure out how he was making money, where he was paying taxes, and what was going on in there. And here today with me, we have US tax advisor Tigran Haratunyan, who's gonna go through every single line and give you exact situation, what was happening in there, and what we as entrepreneurs can learn out of it. So Tigran, hi, good to have you. Let's get into it. I'm really can't wait. Tell us about it.
And Daniel, yeah, thank you for having me. So, as you know, Congress recently made Trump's taxes public. So yeah, as you said, we'll go line by line and let's see what was happening, regardless where you stand at politically. I think it's fun to see how a billionaire president and one of the most controversial people of our time filed his taxes. So let's begin. All right, so we all start from the form 1040. This is the most basic form, regardless how much money you make, whether you're a billionaire, congressman, congresswoman, president, you still have to start with the form 1040. This is the main form where you pretty much combine all your income from different sources and all your expenses. Now, beginning is easy. He's filing married, filing jointly, and we can see his and his wife's names, Donald and Melania. The address is hidden, but we can see he's filing as a Florida resident. And this is smart because Florida doesn't have a state income tax. So if you want to save money, move to Florida. Unlike California or New York, in average, especially if your income is significantly higher than average, you can save almost like 10% of your on taxes if you move to Florida. Also, we can see that it's reassuring that he and his wife contributed $3 to his presidential campaign. And then we go to one question that was recently actually added to tax returns, whether in 2020 he exchanged any virtual currency. So this is, and he said no. So this doesn't mean he didn't buy cryptocurrency. It is possible he bought. However, it means he didn't sell and he didn't make any taxable gain on cryptocurrency. So IRS generally reminds everyone, because not too many people know that income on crypto is taxable, that if you're making money on cryptocurrency, you may owe taxes. Now, then we are going to his dependents. Now, the name is hidden, but it says son, and it's most likely Barron Trump, the only son that's actually still eligible to be treated as a dependent. That's not an adult. And we can see he didn't claim child tax credit, probably because of high income. He didn't qualify to claim any child tax credit for his son. Now let's go to the fun part, his income. So line one, that's his wages, salaries, tips. We can see $393,229, and this is pretty much how presidents make. President makes $400,000 a year. The reason it's roughly $7,000 short probably because of some paydays or some formalities that cut him short, like $7,000. But basically here we can appreciate him being honest and reporting his presidential salary on line one. Now, then we see his taxable interest and also tax-exempt interest. Now, some interest that's generally received from state or federal bonds, municipal bonds are tax-exempt. That encourages people to invest in government obligations. And there's about 2,200. So given the interest rates being like at 0.01, we can probably tell how much money he had. So if we divide 2,200 by 0.01, we will see he had about what, like 22 million, I think. Let me just double check my numbers. Oh, 220 million in probably like government bonds and the government debt obligations. Then it is his taxable interest. This is basically your interest on money you hold in banks. This is interest on money you lend to other people, right? So because most of the interest is taxable and it's about 10 million. Now, we don't know, there's no way for us to know how much, what was the interest rate, but given that, let's say an average interest rate, a bank would offer on like high deposits at that time would be about like maybe 0.05. On some CD accounts you could get maybe higher, like 0.50. Let's say an average of 0.25, and let's divide and see how much money he had in bank accounts. So 10 million roughly divided by 0.5. So that's about a couple of $1 billion. Well, this is an estimate again, so we can't really tell for sure. Now, then qualified and ordinary dividends. Qualified dividends, it has to do with the holding time of the dividend, how quick you basically sold it. So he got $25,000 ordinary dividends, $17,000 qualified. Qualified dividends generally get more favorable tax treatment. Line 5A, he got pensions and annuities, probably because he's old. He's getting some of retirement funds, possibly. We don't know for sure. And then we see on line 8, he declared $15 million loss, which is like a tremendously high income. So generally, loss from other income is either from self-employment or from interest in a corporation or a partnership. So we'll see we'll try, to the best of our ability to find out where this loss came from. So as a result, his total income was negative $4,694,000. Now, there are also some adjustments to income of 101,699. We'll see what exactly that was. Probably has to do with self-employment tax deduction. We'll see. And then his adjusted gross income on line 11, we see it's $4,795,757 negative. Then there's this standard deduction, which in this case didn't really matter. He actually itemized his deductions, obviously because of the amount. So if you don't know, standard deduction for married filing jointly is $24,800 as of 2020. But he took $915,000, which means he had a lot of itemizable deductions. So he pretty much took advantage of that and claimed the higher deduction. But again, in this case, it wouldn't matter because his taxable income is effectively is just zero. Now, when your tax income is zero, let's see if we can, okay, there we go. So this is page 2. Now, when your tax income is zero, obviously tax you pay is also zero. Now, does this mean he didn't pay any tax at all? Well, let's find out. So here we're seeing other taxes on line 23, and it's $271,970. So this is most likely self-employment taxes that goes to Social Security and Medicare, right? So we'll check what kind of income he has in the later pages, but we can see that he actually paid something. So I'll tell you the exact number in a bit. Now, on line 25, you generally declare taxes that were already withheld from your paycheck. So from his presidential salary, $83,916 were withheld. So even presidents have to pay taxes on their paychecks. So $83,000 went to taxes, and obviously he can claim a refund on that because he had no taxable income. Also, he paid additional 1733, which was also withheld from his paycheck. Well, not really paycheck, but some other income, most likely some sort of stakes in partnerships or something like that. So altogether, 85,649 was withheld during 2020. Now, line 26, we see a huge amount of money, 13,635,520. Now, what exactly that is? It says 2020 estimated tax payments and amount applied for 2019 return. So generally speaking, April 15 of the following year is not the time when you pay taxes. It's the time when you pretty much reassess your tax liability. IRS, especially if you have high levels of income, you're expected to pay taxes as you go. So most people are advised to make estimated payments. Generally, if you owe more than $1,000 by April 15 for 2 years in a row, IRS will assess a penalty. Therefore, to avoid that, you make estimated tax payments. Estimated tax payments are made generally every 3 months, and that way you avoid any underpaid taxes. Now, Donald Trump paid $13,635,520 in estimated taxes. Now, Is the government going to keep all that money? No. And also, there's this little addition for 19397 from Schedule 3, line 13. And so altogether, he made payments of 13,740,566. Now, what happened later, it appeared like he overpaid $13,468,593. So if we subtract the number on line 33 from number on line 34, we'll see how much taxes he actually paid. So 13,745,66 minus 13,468,593. So he paid $271,973 in Social Security or self-employment taxes, but $0 in income tax. So actually paid, it's still a relatively small amount for a billionaire, but he still paid some taxes. And then from that money, he wanted 5,468,593 refunded to him, and then 8 million applied to his 2021 estimated taxes. So, okay, let's see. And then his signature, his occupation is the president, wife's occupation, first lady. All right, now let's try to take a look at where his income actually came from. Again, to the best of our ability, because not all information is available. Now, Schedule 1 is what shows, let's see what's going on. Okay, so let's look at Schedule 1. So what we really want to pay attention is his business income. He had negative $29,000. Other gains of losses, $500,000 roughly. And then he lost $15 million in either rental real estate, royalties, partnership, S corporation trusts, etc. So from some sort of like passive stake in some corporations. Now, that's why altogether he had this $15 million loss that allowed him to pretty much have no taxable income. Now, this is a technical term. This is the deductible part of the self-employment tax on line 14. Basically, from the $271,000 that he paid in self-employment taxes, it's partially deductible. So that's not. Okay, now let's go to other page. Now, additional taxes. So as you can see, and this is his $271,973 that we just calculated. So basically, that's most of it is self-employment. He also paid a little household taxes, so that's pretty much probably his babysitters or well, not his babies. Well, I guess some people who work at his house. Okay, and then yeah. What else do we have? Okay, so let's go to his, and then additional credits. Yeah, he got a little, okay, credit for federal tax on fuels. So this is a small amount. Again, this is basically government incentivize certain types of investments or certain types of purchases, but the amount is pretty small. It wouldn't have affected his taxes. Now, let's go to his itemized deductions and try to find out where it came from. So as we can see, now on line 5A, he's deducting $7,500,000 in state and local income taxes or general sales taxes. Now, what does this mean? He most likely paid $7.5 million to different states, probably New York, probably California. So even though he paid $0 in federal income tax, he's paid $7.5 million to the states. So, and then he also on line B, an additional million of state and local real estate taxes. So that's, he also paid $1 million in real estate taxes. So altogether, he actually paid $8.5 million in taxes. And then he also, okay, and then part of it is obviously tax deductible. So he, that's how he came up with $915,171 in itemized deductions. Okay. Now let's look at some, okay, this is Schedule B. Now, Schedule B shows your interest income. So now we'll know who actually Donald Trump lended money. So let's take a look. So as we can see, he made $10 million, $626,000 in taxable interest. So it started with banks. So he actually got $225,000 from Capital One. He has small deposits at JP Morgan Chase, some other banks. And what we can see, he's also lending money to his children. So Ivanka paid him $18,000 in interest. Donald J. Jr. paid $8,700. Eric Trump $19,000. So, and then Form K1. This is generally your investment in partnerships. So let's say he um, had an investment. He has a stake at Mar-a-Lago Club, the famous Mar-a-Lago Club, and he got $169 from that, his stake at Mar-a-Lago Club. So wherever you see schedule Form K1, this is basically your stake at some sort of partnership. Now, LLCs, as we know, are treated as partnerships if there are more than one member and it's not incorporated. Also, some trusts where he got interests, and he pretty much declared them all. Well, again, we don't know if there's something he did not declare, but based on this information, this is what he had. And it goes on and on. So again, $10 million in interest. Okay. Then let's move to the other page. Now, self-employment tax, right? So he had $7.5 million in net profit from Schedule Cs. Now, the reason he paid little amount of tax, because there's a cap of how much self-employment tax you pay. So basically, the total is $203,397. So basically, if you make like $1 billion from businesses, you don't have to pay self-employment tax on all of it. This is pretty much your cap, 203. So we can't really say he was like dishonest. He paid pretty much the maximum available in self-employment tax he could have paid. Now let's look at, okay, now these are his small businesses. Now he has management services company that made $87,000. He didn't declare any expenses. So as we can see, gross income, $87,000, management services, and then no expenses declared. So net income was $87,000. So that's one of his businesses. And then this is just a continuation of that form, Schedule C. Another Schedule C. Okay, so this is aviation. So so he lost $5,394 on aviation. He didn't really specify how exactly. That's probably I don't know. He didn't declare any depreciation, so probably some like operational expenses. We don't know. There's another aviation business where he also lost money, 2440. Apparently, he likes airplanes. So let's see, and then another business, and again, aviation. And here he lost $18,000. So, and he didn't really show his losses. Okay, so no, it actually does show. It says flight expense. Okay, so he basically, I don't know how exactly this is a business. I don't know if he's logging his personal flights here, or he's just flying for fun, or he's just taking some classes. But apparently, he is. He didn't really itemize anything. He just said like flight expense of $160,000. Yeah, and then claimed the expenses, even though we still don't see how exactly he came up with $18,000. That's fine. Again, it's not a huge amount. Another aviation business, and he lost 29. And by the way, they're based in New York, so we can see the state. The address is hidden, but we can see it says New York here. Okay, now this is Melania Trump's business. So she apparently has a modeling business, and she made $3,848, probably some royalties or maybe some Instagram advertising or YouTube advertising. So $3,840, not bad for a side job. So this is basically where he's carrying forward his losses from previous years. It wouldn't affect taxes of this year. As we see all this stuff, we'll just skip this. Now, this is the Schedule E. This is where he basically will, hopefully we'll see a little extra information about how he lost the $15 million. Schedule E is basically your passive income, right? If Schedule C shows your active income from self-employment for whatever business you have, and Schedule E shows your passive income whenever you're renting out your house, whenever you are investing in some sort of partnership or corporation. So all that income shows up in Schedule E. So that's a passive income because you are not actively taking part in everyday decisions, unlike when you are self-employed. So let's look at this. So, okay, I'm gonna make this larger so you can see. So he had a passive income of $54 million, and this is a stake in different, again, Schedule K1. So this is from different partnerships he was member of. And then he had, let's see, passive loss of $53 million. And then he had non-passive loss of $27 million. So basically, when he actively participated, business lost money. So, okay. And then so altogether, it's a negative $15,765,508, which we saw on the page 1. So this is basically the main reason he didn't pay federal income tax. Now, let's see if there's anything interesting to look at. Now, the thing is, it doesn't show us where exactly this loss came from, right? So, so basically, it is very likely that IRS audited, because he was telling that IRS is auditing his tax returns. It is very likely that IRS also will audit some of these partnerships, some of the corporation he has stake in, and see if those losses are justified. And if they're not, IRS may disallow this losses. However, at this point, the best available information can tell us he lost $15 million staking in partnerships. Let me see if there is anything else. There's 150 pages, but we're not going to go income or loss from partnership. Here it provides the names of all these partnerships. So basically, IRS, and good luck to IRS, will need to audit all these companies to find out whether he lost $15 million or not. So again, good luck to IRS with that. Let's see if there's anything important to look at. And then household employment taxes. This is basically what he paid for employing people in his household. Could be babysitter for his son, so we don't really know that exactly. Again, self-employment tax, we already saw this. And then supplemental business expenses, not important, not important. Pages. I think this is pretty much all we wanted to see. So let's jump to some conclusions. So what we know now, he didn't pay any federal income tax because he declared $15 million loss from stake in different companies, mostly LLCs treated as partnerships. He paid roughly $271,000 in self-employment and other taxes. He also paid over $8 million in state taxes. So altogether, he actually paid about like $8,700,000, roughly $9 million in taxes, but zero in federal income tax. So, and whether he cheated on that loss that he's showing on his partnerships, that we can't really tell, because we would basically need to review tax returns of all those partnerships in that list, which we just simply don't have access to, because that's at this point it's not made public information. Okay.
So that's it, I guess. It's very interesting investigation and explanation. What conclusions do you have for entrepreneurs filing their taxes? Like, what your key takeaways, do's and don'ts, filing taxes, based on your experience and, of course, this existing Donald Trump's taxes?
Right. So first and foremost, obviously, be honest as you can. right? It's better to pay a little extra, but be quiet. Now, in terms of like different tricks, as you can see, you could deduct. Basically, in the United States, we don't have a wealth tax, right? So just because you have $10 billion doesn't mean you have to pay a lot of taxes, right? You only pay a tax on income that you earn, right? So because he didn't earn any money, effectively, he didn't pay any federal income tax, right? So generally, there's an active income, there's a passive income, right? Passive income is when you're not actively taking participation in everyday operations of the business, and this is where he lost most of his money, right? So that's why he didn't pay any income tax. So uh, again, there are like different tweaks you can do to reduce or increase. There are ways to manipulate, and let's be honest, people exaggerate their their expenses, they understate their income. In every pretty much income level, regardless, you make $10 an hour or $10 million an hour, that happens. But also, don't cheat, right? Because uh, you know penalties can be pretty severe. So
Yeah. Well, the final question I have, you mentioned that good luck IRS with auditing these 150 companies. So what do you mean with that? It will be like forever for them, or it will cost them a lot of money? What do you mean with that, and how?
right. So basically, that $15 million loss that he's showing came from his being a partner in all those LLCs that we saw. So basically, to find out whether he lied about it or whether it's justified, IRS will have to pretty much audit all those LLCs, right? And it will take a lot of time, right, and a lot of resources. So we don't know how much resources they're willing to allocate. Don't want to make this political, but generally speaking, it would take a lot of time for IRS to make any conclusions and to prove. When it comes to taxation, they don't have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. They can just simply prove based on preponderance of evidence. But yeah, so it will take a lot of time and resources.
All right. Thank you, Tigran. It was a great explanation, and looking forward to know more about what is happening with these investigations, and probably further tax forms they would reveal from the Donald Trump. Definitely, we probably want to take a look. So, everyone, thank you so much for being with us. Please press the like button. It really helps us growing this channel, and please share this video with others as well. Please subscribe to the channel and leave your comments below. If you have any questions, maybe you didn't get the full answer, we are happy to answer it to you. So go there and ask your questions. And finally, if you need help with taxes for your company, for yourself, we are happy to help. Go Global World helps with taxes, with accounting, with many other things. Just go to our website, goglobal.world, and you will see a lot of things you can do for your businesses. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and stay with us. We're gonna release more videos soon, so look forward to seeing you all. Goodbye.